because I know that this one is going to be good. We're going to be hearing from Dr. Sharon McKenzie, and she is a tenured faculty at Kean University, New Jersey, teaching in the Recreation, Administration, and Recreational Therapy degree programs. She obtained her PhD in education with emphasis on therapeutic recreation and gerontology from the University of Minnesota. She completed a 3-year NIA postdoctoral fellowship at the Medical University of South California. Dr. McKenzie has been honored as a programs to increase diversity among individuals engaged in health-related research. That's PRIDE, Behavioral and Sleep Medicine Scholar. And this was sponsored by the National Institute of Health and the Johns Hopkins Geriatric Education Consortium Faculty Development Scholar. She considers herself to be an applied researcher with a focus on activities-based approaches to addressing the clinical and psychosocial needs of older adults with the goal of promoting optimal health and well-being. Her publications and research are focused on dementia and Alzheimer's disease, as well as activity-based approach. She's currently the program coordinator for the minor in gerontology and assessment coordinator for the recreational therapy program. She's been a member of the editorial board of the International Journal of Reminiscence and Life Review Activities, Adaptation, and Aging. She's a certified therapeutic recreation specialist since 1993. And I must say she has quite a number of other certifications. Dr. McKenzie, we welcome you at this time to share with us your presentation on loving and caring for you. Over to you, Dr. McKenzie.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. I always say last but not least. It's so far such a wonderful, wonderful morning, and I'm hoping I can close this off with us really just focusing on ourselves. So I'm going to share my screen. Okay, can you see the screen? Yes.
Yes, we can.
Okay, wonderful. All righty, so welcome. So I know for all of our guests that are here, you know, you've been very patient. We've had so much great information today, and I am hoping that I will have you now really just focus on you as a caregiver, but then also in terms of things that you're doing with your loved ones or whomever it is that you're caring for, that you're able to kind of incorporate things that you're doing with them, as well as you taking care of you. So I wanted to just say that when I think it was Miss Adeoye that had talked about self-care, and she gave you the perspective of self-care more in terms of the activities of daily living. So kind of looking at self-care for the actual person living with dementia. However, I wanted you to then also look at the other perspective of self-care. And I have the definition here of the practice of taking action to protect your well-being during times of stress. So I want the emphasis to really be on you as caregivers who are caring for someone, and not only probably the person with dementia, but also I'm sure most of you have children or you have others in the household that you are caring for. And if you're working in a long-term care setting, you know, that you're maybe caring for several individuals. Oftentimes caregivers, you know, will think that they are being selfish if they actually focus on themselves. I think it was Ms. Lati-Bodir that also, you know, said the same thing, that, you know, it's not being selfish when you think of self. And so you have to, you know, just allow yourself the opportunity to take the time to do things that is loving to you and to yourself. And then also that it's not a weakness to say, I need help, you know, I need care. Do self-indulge. Because if you are caring for you, then it means that you are able to do the best for the person that you're caring for. You know, when we're flying, they say, put the seat belt on the child first before actually, not the seat belt, I'm sorry, the oxygen on the child. So that way, I'm sorry, you put the oxygen on yourself first, and then you can take care of the child. So it's the same premise that, you know, we need to take care of ourselves. And really from a wellness perspective, right, if we are thinking of caring for self, then also we need to allow ourselves the opportunity to have choices, right? So, you know, in the various things that we might do. So we might do things with the person that we're caring for. You know, we may decide to do things alone by ourselves, and it's okay. Or, you know, we can choose to have others be a part of this. But in all of the domains of our lives, we need to kind of pay attention to areas that we might be, you know, not doing so well in. And a lot of time caregivers have, you know, a lot of strain. We've heard, you know, from Dr. Elder Meyer-Shear talk about, you know, the areas that the caregivers who during COVID, you know, that they have all of these additional stressors that they're having to deal with. And so, you know, you're doing all this stuff, physical stuff, you know, so kind of paying attention to what your emotions are, you know, how are you doing? And just really looking at all of the various realms. I want to put the attention too on the spiritual aspect, because a lot of times we kind of ignore that part. And we know that, I know I was born in Jamaica, so I come from that culture as well, where spirituality is extremely important to us. And so knowing that, you know, one can lean on that aspect also, and allowing yourself the time to be able to be in prayer. You can be in prayer with the person that you're caring for. So not forgetting that aspect of our well-being. So dementia care, we have to think of it from a more holistic perspective, because oftentimes we kind of focus a lot on the physical stuff, the stressors, you know, you having to deal with the agitation of of your loved one, your family member. One of the recommendations that I would say to you, and I think it was, you know, Professor Liba that talked about the fact that, you know, yes, there's going to be repetition with the person, you know, that you're caring for, or your loved one. But if, you know, one of the things that I always think about, and when I teach my students at the universities, I always say, focus on the abilities. What can this person actually do, right? And then if you focus on the abilities, the things that's not going so right, then it won't matter. When they are in that lucid moment, as Ms. Lati-Bodir talked about, you know, where they can remember, you know, they know who you are, that you can really take advantage of those moments and make it fun and make it, you know, active for that person. We also want to promote resiliency, both for you and also for the person that you're caring for. And with all of these, that it will bring, you know, meaning to that person's life. So using activities, we can actually enable individuals, you know, to really live a full life. And I think all of the speakers talked about, you know, doing certain activities so that you can get that person engaged. But also for you, you need to find the time to do activities that you love, that's meaningful for you, right? We talked about getting respite care. so that you have time to do the things that are important to you, that will feed you. I remember last year when I did this talk, you know, I had us playing a game of Ring Around the Rosie. Sometimes we forget about that child within us, right? You know, I always have something in my office as a reminder that there's that playful child that's in me that I need to continue to bring forth. And so you as the caregiver, sometimes when the person is, you know, it's getting to you, use it as a playful time. Use it as a playful time, right? Bring laughter. We know the benefits of laughter. There's a lot of research now that has been done. We understand the benefits of laughter and triggering the endorphins in our bodies. And so in the moments when you catch yourself and that, you know, you might be getting annoyed that they're asking you the same question, find a moment in whatever it is that they're saying that's funny, and, you know, shift their focus, right? And laugh, right? Bring enjoyment to the aspect of caregiving, and also in terms of caring for yourself. So don't want to go into the full detail just to bore you, but you know, I think it was Professor Liba that talked about the various types of activities. And so there's productive activities. And so when you are, let's say if you're working with a person, you know, around their ADLs, you're doing their baths or whatever, you know, give them opportunity to be able to, you know, sponge themselves down, or just break activities up so that they can actually do, and it might be related to something that they were really good at. You know, maybe it was that they were, you know, they had their own farm. They were doing farming. They know about vegetables. So maybe when you go grocery shopping and you bring in the stuff in, that you can have them, you know, maybe wash the vegetables and put the stuff away, right? So those are like productive activities. Leisure activity, again, it could be a passive activity. You can have, you know, doing, we now have adult appropriate types of coloring, you know, so you can do some of those. And then around self-care, like I said, you can have that person, you know, assist with that. I want to focus on the whole idea around resting. And, you know, so I'll give a little more detail for the next slide. So one of the approaches that Montessori talks about is never give a person busy work, right? So sometimes we, just for, to get them distracted or to, you know, keep them busy, you know, we might think to do things that are not really meaningful. And as a result of it, that person might become agitated, right? I think, again, it was Dr. Liba that talked about the fact that, you know, if you really process through and think through some of the things, so maybe, you know, the night before, think about things that you're going to be doing for the day and how you can include your loved one into the process of what you're doing and problem solve, you know, problem solving if you have others who are caring for that person. The activity needs to be interesting, so that way, again, you can keep that person engaged, you know, so they can help you with folding clothes, or, you know, if you're doing something around the house, you know, even within the nursing home. And it sounds like the nursing home, you know, they're doing a wonderful job of that. You know, also talk about providing choices for that person. Because again, I said for wellness, that it's about also having that opportunity to make choices. And so if in any way that you can, as you kind of plan your day out, think of opportunities where you can actually give that person the opportunity to make a choice, you know, and even if they're in the middle stage of the disease, that you can place things out and then just ask them, so which one do you want, right? Would you like to help me with this? And then the whole idea around activities needing to be purposeful. I have their task analysis because again, as you plan out, so task analysis usually is if I know I'm going to be playing, if I'm going to be playing a ball game, or I'm going to play, what do you call that, dominoes. I oftentimes will think about if I'm working with someone who has dementia, I try to break the game down, right? So, what are the things that's necessary for somebody to play dominoes? And your loved one might be in the middle stage and, the middle to later stage of dementia, they're not able to do all of the game, but maybe just having them pick up the domino, right? So we break the task down so that you can understand what comes next, what comes next, what comes next. And that way you can, again, engage them and have them involved in assisting you. All right, so I did my spiel about caring for the person and you've heard everything today. So now what about you, right? I really want you to just take a moment to think about, is your health balanced? Are there things that you have been ignoring that you know is going on with you, but because you're so busy caring that you're not paying attention, right? And I have all of those areas of wellness that I mentioned before, because we have to be honest with ourselves, right? I know a lot of us, we ignore certain signs and symptoms, right? And we don't act on them. And then what happens, that person is progressive. They have Alzheimer's and they progress to the later stage and there's a lot of strain on you, then it means that your health is going to be compromised, right? So take the time and be honest with yourself as to what do I need to do for me, right? Where do I need to bring some balance, right? And once you've recognized those, do I need some help? Do I need some support? What can I do? What can I relinquish to somebody else? I know when I was working at NYU and I would watch these husbands that would bring their wives in the close to the later stage, and very committed. And, they were just pushing themselves, right? And you could see where it was actually impacting on their own health, right? So I know, again, you guys are balancing everything in terms of, maybe having other children and other situations in your homes. So really, I would encourage you to take the time. Support systems are important. Again, during the pandemic, we were forced to be with our families, right? And to start working together. And so it's okay to lean on others. It's okay if you still have the connection with your church or a family. If you need a break, ask for a break. Try to get someone, get a family. And also, sometimes we think that caregivers, caring has to be where it's the person that's living with that person. But caregiving can be afar. For instance, the example for me, my mom lives in Canada. And so I'm not the person who's providing care day to day, but I'm still there in terms of social support, having conversations, and being support in every way that I can. So I'm still considered a caregiver, but I'm a caregiver from a distance. So call on others, call on your family, your friends, neighbors in your community and so on. And I would encourage you to, after this, if you haven't done so, to literally sit and write out the list. If I need this kind of help, who would that person be? Or who would the people be? Just really think about who can you lean on and call on and know that they will be there for you. Do you take time just to self-reflect, right? Take the time to just write. I think a lot of times when you see books that are written by caregivers about their caregiving experience, oftentimes it's because they started keeping a journal of things that were happening, how they were feeling, something funny that happened throughout the day. They started journaling. So that's another way to do it, of self-reflecting. If you don't want to have to talk to people all the time, then get a journal and write it out. Write out everything that you're feeling, the frustration, the anger, all of it. Just put it on paper. It might be the next bestseller on caregiving. Sleep. I am really bad about going to bed early at night. It's a challenge based on our lifestyle now, but it's so, so important. So the times when, and I know you may be up sometimes, with your loved one at night, but wherever you can put that space in to take a nap, right? Try to get as much sleep, because we know there are all these positive effects of being able to get your rest. Also, you want to make sure that your environment that you're sleeping in is conducive to you having a restful sleep. One of my practice, I put a mute on my phone. Actually, I don't sleep with my phone in my room, in my bedroom. It's nowhere in my bedroom, right? So that there's no interruption, there's no temptation to pick my phone up and to check something, right? So come up with some kind of a practice or sleep hygiene for yourself, so that way you can get the rest that you need. We all know about physical exercise. You may go and you walk on your own, or take the person that you're caring for with you, right? So we know all the benefits of exercise in terms of, releasing of endorphins, in terms of helping us to sleep, right? And it's also good for persons with dementia that they are still getting physical activity. And what a better activity than to just go walking. I was thinking about, being in Jamaica and paying attention to all the different kinds of flowers and plants, just you walking in your yard. Jamaica for me is a paradise. So just because I don't think we do that. Start paying attention to the variety of flowers or the birds. And this is something that you can do with the person that you're caring about. So a whole host of activities that, you can do with your loved ones, sharing past memories. I think last year I'd introduced you guys to doing a memory board. So again, sometimes too, it's about, I want to do this for me. So again, start doing a little memoir, start doing a journal, start following and writing affirmations for yourself. You wake up in the morning, choose an affirmation that's going to carry you for the day. So that way, when you're having those stressful moments, you can come back to that affirmation. It will center you. It will ground you. So as caregivers, I pray and hope that you're going to ask for help. I keep saying it over and over. Take things one thing at a time. We tend to, overwhelm ourselves because, we have all of this stuff that we need to do, right? Including caregiving, and we don't necessarily just be in the moment, right? Just be in the moment. I think it was on Monday, I had a host of things that I had to do. And so I had to remind myself as I was moving from one building to the next, to just be in that moment of taking a walk from one building to the next. I wasn't thinking about, okay, what am I gonna do when I get to the next thing, right? So take the time and do things one thing at a time. Dr. Eldermeyer spoke about the nutrition and diet, that, you know, you really try to take the time to do your little research. You're all here on Zoom, so which means that you are savvy about research and getting things on the internet. So start really paying attention to the foods that you're eating, again, so that you're getting enough nutrients and you're keeping yourself well. I mentioned exercise and rest. I wanted to just share with you the importance of taking a bath. So, you know, if you have a nice bathtub in your home, or if not, if you're doing showers, that also it's beneficial. And I was actually reading a study yesterday where they talked about the benefits of taking hot baths. And again, that it actually triggers endorphins in our body. So extremely important. And then, you know, just staying positive, right? I think right now our world is very negative in terms of some of the things that's going on, and you know, we're losing so many people. And so we're staying in fear. And so we need to really stay on the positive each day and live in the moment. Again, be kind to yourself. If you're kind to yourself, then being kind to somebody else becomes very easy, okay? Because then you're putting yourself in that other person's shoe. So physical activity, diet, challenging our brain, you know, doing crossword puzzles, you know, doing things that stimulate your brain. Push yourself to learn something new. Push yourself to continue to research and to understand more about dementia and Alzheimer's, and keep up with the new things that are coming out, the research that's done. Just keep abreast, you know, of all the things that are coming in. So I think it was our last speaker that talked about some of the activities around the younger generation. So I'm sure most of you have young, you know, grandchildren. Start teaching them how to care for their loved one, the person living with the dementia, right? Keep them involved, because then it will allow for you to have somebody else that may give you some time to have some respite, right? So intergenerational, you know, exchange is extremely important. And I have there, tell your family member with dementia that you love them. But most importantly, I want you every single day to look yourself in the mirror and say, I love you. You're doing a great job. I love you. Whether you are a paid caregiver or you are a family member who's caring for a loved one, tell yourself that you're doing a good job, and pat yourself on the back. So before I leave you, I wanted to take you through a short meditation. And I've placed all the benefits there of breathing, taking the moment to breathe, right? It reduces anxiety. So those moments when it's just too much, just stop and breathe. Doing a mindful breathing, it's going to assist you. So I'm using some of the words by one of my source that I go to when I'm looking for affirmations, Don Miguel Ruiz. So I'm going to be using some of his words as I guide you through meditation. I'm going to stop sharing my screen as I take you through this. So can you, so just try to sit comfortably in your chair or wherever you're sitting. Breathe in slowly through the nose. And breathe out through the mouth. Breathe in slowly again so that you can feel the air expanding in your lungs. And blow it out. Put your hand on your heart. So we're going to put the left hand over the heart and then the right hand over the left. And I want you to just, again, breathe deeply through the nose, inhale in. And exhale, feel in the heart chakra. Feel the pleasure as you breathe, as the air enters your lungs. Prolong the pleasure by inhaling very, very slowly. And then keep the air inside your lungs and being mindful of your heart. Inhale in and exhale in so that you can feel pleasure. Keep breathing in and out. Breathe in slowly again until you cannot inhale anymore. And then release slowly. Every time you inhale and exhale, I want you to think about how much you appreciate you. You appreciate who you are. As you breathe in and out, feel the pleasure of being alive. The pleasure of breathing. It is something so simple that we take for granted every moment of our lives. Breathing. I want you to focus your attention now on your emotions. Imagine that the air is made of love. Every time you inhale, love is filling your lungs and every portion of your chest cavity. Your emotional reaction is to accept all the love entering your body. And you react by loving that wonderful connection. You are not afraid to receive all the love and the joy and enjoyment that you deserve. Breathe. As you love yourself, extend a love to all that is part of this universe. Extend the love to all who have been part of this wonderful conference. We are all sharing in this experience. The knowledge, information, experience, resources. We are here loving and appreciating with gratitude. Breathe in slowly. And as the love fills your lungs, let it overflow into your heart. Take your time and come back. Relax your arms. Relax your shoulders. Breathe. I thank you.